don't have basements, and that's okay. So just find a bathroom, a closet, a hallway, anything like that that you can do, and stay there until the storm passes. Again, this is a tornado warning for Hardin and McNairy counties until 4:15. The National Weather Service says this storm is producing a tornado near Big Hill Pond State Park, moving to the northeast at about 55 miles an hour. So again, BTI there, that's our Barron Tornado Index. That is a 4.3 on a scale of 1 to 10. That's the likelihood of this being a tornado on the ground. So anything over a 3 or a 4, we really want to pay attention to. And this is a 4, so we really want to keep an eye on that. Again, there's that rotation just to the west of Raymer. It's moving to the northeast at about 55 miles an hour. So heads up Stantonville, Eastview, Selmer, Crump, and eventually towards Savannah. You got to be in your tornado safe place right now as this storm moves off to the north and east. Again, if you're just waking up with us, maybe your phone is waking you up or the tornado sirens are going off. Tornado warning for Hardin and McNairy counties this morning until 4:15. John, I'm going to let you step in and take a closer look at this. A pretty decent sign of rotation there just to the west of Raymer.
It is, no doubt about it. Just west of Raymer, this tightening up. Again, we've talked about it throughout this entire event. These bright greens and the reds, we don't want them together, but that's what we're seeing right now. And the event is not over yet. We're really getting close, but we cannot let our guard down because conditions where the watch is still active and obviously the warning here are still conducive for tornadoes. The winds aloft are still fast and some of these winds are now making it down to the surface. So Trevor has drawn out a track. Let's read it off to you. Raymer, you got to be in your safe spot because this is coming your way in about 4 minutes. You have time, but just go to your safe spot. Again, interior room in the center of your home. If you're in an apartment, try to get down to the lowest level downstairs in a common area if you have a neighbor or friend. 343 Eastview, Selmer at 344, Stantonville at 352, and Crump at 401. Our tornado index right now holding at a 4.3, hail size, an inch. Not saying that's hitting the ground, but it's a possibility. And the tops on this storm are about 30,000 feet. So we're seeing those come down as the morning hours are here. And it's moving east at about 52 miles per hour. Now, this is a radar indicated tornado right now headed toward the Eastview area. You see Guys, Raymer, and Stantonville all in the path of this. Selmer, you are also under this warning. Again, this one's going to go until 4:15. Some of these it's been a while since we've had a tornado warning, but some of these warnings are going quick. Some of these cells develop fast and can go tornado quickly, and that's what this one's doing. Now, we've been watching cells back in North Mississippi for several hours now, and they've been trying to do the same thing, but the National Weather Service has seen fit now with this cell to issue a tornado warning, and we see why with the circulation just to the west of Raymer. So it's right on you guys, and you need to go to your safe spot and stay there. Keep in mind, even though we haven't had tornadoes on the ground for a while now, this system hasn't changed. It is in a weakening mode, but it's still the atmosphere here is still exceptionally unstable, and with the cold air coming in and colliding, it's like what we saw earlier. Tornadoes can develop quickly and they can go down quickly, and it's the middle of the night and you can't see them. They'll be rain wrapped, so please don't try to go find it. Just be safe. Let's ride this warning out, and as long as you are not going outside, just be smart. Stay in your safe spot. Raymer, Eastview, Stantonville as this cell tracks to the northeast. What was it moving? What did they have the movement on that?
They've got it at 55.
55 miles per hour. That's been the general trend with some of these cells. And, you know, with each scan, sometimes it looks different. So this one, maybe not quite as bad. And I know a lot of this is confusing at home, a lot of different colors and all this, so I don't want to get too technical, but it's the green and the reds. When they get close together, winds going in different directions at different levels of the atmosphere sometimes, and this is what is called Doppler radar. So that, and it's moving, actually, it's getting pretty good ways away from the radar. Sometimes you don't get as good of data the farther away you get because of, well, just the curvature of the earth. But this area right here, Bethel Springs, you're also in this tornado warned storm. Selmer, you too are close to the rotation. You need to be in your safe spot as well as this continues. And there is rotation, no doubt about it, going on right here. Our tornado index at a 3.9 as the cell now moving east-northeast at about 56 miles per hour. Here is your up to the second updated track. Raymer, right now, that storm is on you. If there is a tornado, it would be right over you right now. 344 in Eastview, Stantonville at 352, 4 o'clock in Crump, Savannah, which is just outside our coverage area, that would be at 4 o'clock. So this is a quick moving storm. System not dead yet, but we're starting to wind down, but not done. And that is why there is still an active tornado watch for these areas, because you guys haven't really had, energy building all day, and even though it's in the middle of the night, it's still present, and the winds dynamics are still very, very impressive. After all, yesterday it was 80, and the storms have finally made it into our eastern counties, the last gasp, but certainly, hey, even an EF0 tornado can do damage and can be unsafe, and that's why we're telling you, look, this is just going to be for another 20 minutes or so, if that, if they keep the tornado warning going. So it's just not worth it. Stay in your safe spot for another 20 minutes or so, and things should be okay. No confirmation. It is late at night, early in the morning, whatever you want to call it. So the storm spotters, they aren't out like they were. Anything we get from law enforcement we'll pass along to you. But as far as chasers and people being out, there's not many people at this hour. Let's just face it. So we just have to go off of the data that we're seeing, unless law enforcement, we get a report from law enforcement, but again, unlikely at this hour, but that's why we're here. In case we do, as we back out a little bit, you can see there's other cells to the south and west of this. They're not warned cells right now, but they are cells that still have some energy. And there is one that is approaching Lafayette County. Here's Oxford right here. This will have to be one that needs to be watched for sure, because there could be some rotation in it just to the south and west of Water Valley. And the worst of that is about to push into Lafayette County. This one moving to the east-northeast at about 43 miles per hour. Tornado index still under a 4. We want to keep it there. When we get over a 4, it starts to get more significant. Let's just say that. You can have them with the tornado index below a 4, but that's kind of a key metric that we watch. The line is consolidating a great deal. We're not seeing a lot of individual cells develop out ahead of it. And we believe that this threat is only going to be going on for another hour or so before our tornado threat winds down. But this is why we say, we're not done until we're done. And that's why the tornado watch goes until 5 o'clock. Here it is, 3:41 in the morning. And guys, feel free to interrupt me at any time if there's something on a bulletin about information that we need not miss. But let's zoom back in here, Trevor, and let's take a look at the shear rate. That was doing pretty good for us earlier. This rotation detector here.
So I'm kind of switching back between the Columbus, Mississippi radar and the Memphis radar,
Perfect.
just because it's in kind of a weird spot.
Yep.
It's kind of far away from either radar,
Yep.
so we're gonna kind of have to bounce back and forth. But there's Memphis, and you can see definitely some signs of rotation in there. I think a little bit of a better view maybe from the Columbus radar site down at the Air Force Base. I mean, it's showing the rotation basically in the same area on the weaker side, but rotation nonetheless.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're using two different radar sites because we can look at the storm from two different angles. And probably the Columbus radar is not have as much interference looking at that storm than the Memphis radar does. So maybe stay on that and check out that skit, and let's see what the tornado index is now, and we'll be able to see if it's right. It's holding just below 4. This does show moving east-northeast at 70 miles an hour now. You know, these storms in situations like this, especially at this time of night, tend to begin to speed up. They had this slow motion earlier. Well, I won't say slow, but not this fast. But once cells start to form into a line, the cold air and the drier air behind this is starting to dominate and take over. And that's why we believe that this is only going to be another hour, hour and a half max event here with these tornado warnings as the system winds down. But there is still rotation here, and we want you to take this seriously because we've seen it before. You know, it's kind of like the last gasp of the storm system, and this one has been so, man, how do I describe it? Just, it's unlike any other. It's had everything, and these are not the long track, wide tornadoes that we saw earlier last night, I should say, but still, if it hits your home, it's a big deal, and that's why we're here. To protect you and keep you safe at any hour of the day. And we are looking at our rotation detector here and seeing signs and indications of perhaps a Doppler indicated tornado. Here's a track: Stantonville at 353, Crump at 402, Savannah at 406, which is going to be just outside our coverage area. Here's Savannah right here. So, I mean, we're talking 15 minutes or so in our extreme eastern counties. And as we take it, again, it's harder to really get a good picture of what's going on because, like Trevor was saying, this storm is kind of in no man's land as far as being close to a NEXRAD radar site. So it's kind of harder to decipher the data. But there is rotation in here. It's broad. And I'm not convinced it's at the surface. It could be, but it's broad. We don't have the bright green colors that we had earlier this evening and going back to last night. You don't see bright colors, but look, the red pixels and the green pixels, they're close enough together. There's definitely rotation going on. The question is how strong and is it at ground level? We need to assume that it is. And look, we're almost done with this thing, folks. So if you just hang with us until this cell moves east of Selmer and north of Stantonville, it's about out of the area. Corinth, here you are right here. Technically, Alcorn County not under the warning right now. But you still have stuff back to your south and west. You're not totally clear either. There's still some pretty good thunderstorm cells with some pretty deep reflectivity cores here. You see this pink color showing up. That indicates that these are still healthy thunderstorms, that pink color, and there could be some small hail. I don't think it'll be large. Trevor, what's this say right here at Ripley? I want to see what the tornado index is on that. Okay, good. It's a 3.1. The tops of the storms are getting lower
now
as well.
Now it's a 2.9.
Now a 2.9.
Even lower.
Perfect. And I say Rienzi. How do you, is that the way you say it?
That is the way I was told to say it, but I do know there's a controversy.
Yeah, I think there is a little bit of a controversy there.
Seems like it's that way with a lot of towns. Right?
There's plenty of towns.
Yeah.
Takapola, I got in trouble for that one time. Guys at 413, Farmington at 413, Eastview at 416, as that cell is pushing north at about 60 miles per hour. But that is not a warned storm, but I was curious because this also around Ripley is some of the last cells that could produce a tornado. But this one for McNairy County now, while it doesn't look impressive to us at the moment, it's kind of hard to get exact data. But here's some, this is a signature here of rotation. Something is rotating, and we just need to assume that it could be on the ground at any minute. Still, you're seeing this green on our rotation detector. As long as there's green inside this flashing red polygon, which is a tornado warning, it shows that things are still, look, they're still unstable. The atmosphere where we're looking at right now has not had the drier, colder air to come in. Plus, it really hasn't been interrupted at all with other storms that have zapped the energy. So like we've been saying all along, these would be the last areas, and our coverage area anyway, if there were to be additional tornadoes, these are the last counties that will be affected. So it is a small area, and I think it's safe to say now, Selmer, that the worst of it is east of you. That's what it appears to me, just judging by the radar. Here's Selmer right here, one of the higher populated areas of McNairy County is Selmer. And it looks like Stantonville, Eastview, guys, still there's some circulation going on in here. Stay in your safe spot. Selmer, let's just be safe and stay there because, look, we don't have much longer, so we might as well not chance it. Stay in your safe spot right now. But the worst of this storm does appear to be moving over Stantonville. Some rotation right in here, just judging by the reflectivity. And you're in the path, Stantonville, so make sure that you are away from windows, that you are on the first floor of your home, and that you cover your head. Have something to cover your head. Doesn't matter what it is. That's where most tornado injuries occur. Flying glass, you know, that hits you in the head, that injures you. That's where most deaths occur. But if you have your head protected, you're going to be okay. And if you're, away from windows, away from glass, all that kind of stuff, first level of the structure, wherever you are. There's additional activity that looks worse to me, but we don't even really have to worry about that because that's not our area. It's this final tornado warning right now, circulation right here, area of suspicion right there, about to move into Hardin County. But there's several, what I would call, I don't know, mesovortices, if you will. We had a twin tornado earlier, I mean, this was hours ago, in northeast Arkansas. And I mean, it was a sight to be seen. There were two tornadoes next to each other on the ground at the same time, and they weren't far from one another. It was pretty incredible. I'm not saying that we're seeing that right now, but what I am saying is there's two separate areas that are rotating. You can tell by the radar, even without the velocity on there, that this is a rotating thunderstorm, regardless of whether or not it is the winds are making it to the surface. It's still a rotating thunderstorm that could produce a tornado at any point, if it not already is. Now, we don't have confirmation right now that a tornado is on the ground. Unlike many of the other systems tonight where we have had confirmation that a tornado was on the ground. This one we do not yet. So that is some good news. That's always kind of, when you hear confirmation that one's on the ground, that's an extra step up. That's the next level of, hey, all right, it's confirmed. We don't have that yet. Trevor.
Hey, they have canceled this tornado warning. They've said that it's weakened below the limits for the warning, so they're going to let it go.
All right. With that in mind, we are going to take you back to programming. So for Ish in the booth, for our hub on CW30 and ABC, we're going to take you back to regular programming. But if another warning, tornado warning, is issued, we'll break in. But for right now, back to programming. I figured that'd be a